Welcome in, everyone, for another Friday review. Today, we're going to be looking at Reflections by Caskets. Caskets is a relatively fresh band for me. I only found out a bit about them through a Dayseeker bill. I saw them touring with Dayseeker and Holding Absence, and I didn't want to make the same mistake twice. I found out about these guys the same day as I found out about Holding Absence, which is going to be next week's review. But yes, I didn't want to make the same mistake twice because, as you know, with Dayseeker, I said, who the fuck are these guys touring with Wage War? The fucking no-name band. I checked out their shit and I love it, and now I'm like their biggest fan. These guys have a very similar style to Dayseeker, and I would say in this album it shows quite a bit. It could be compared a lot to Dark Sun, especially in the production side by comparison to their debut album, Lost Souls. And there's also a bit of Starset in there, if you guys know Starset, very electronic heavy band. The production on this album is very modern metalcore. A lot of effects doing a bunch of the work in the background to build and flesh out the songs. We've become way better at understanding what synths work with that kind of thing. This band is a great example of the use of these effects to create space and atmosphere. Whereas early metalcore, we didn't really know what to do with electronics. We had bands like Icy Stars coming out here throwing full-on trap beats into songs. And whilst I think that's fucking hype, honestly, that shit was crazy. I think we have a great understanding of where to place things now, and these guys are a great example of that. The drums are beautiful, the bass is big, but I would say the only thing that's really lacking in here is the guitars. They're just lacking something critical. I mean, it's listenable. It's 100% listenable, but I feel like it's the only aspect of the album I keep coming back to and thinking, I can't. I want something. I want it bigger. It feels like they're a little lower in the mix than they should be. For full chords, however, it sounds good. Like the guitar tone they made for this really suits chords. It's just the single note progressions that they do. They kind of felt like they weren't as strong as they could have been. And seeing as they're used for impact a lot of the times in these songs, I think that it should have been a bit more of a focus. I don't know. I'm not in the band. But for me, I would want that to stand out a little bit more. But for them, it might be a different story. With the songwriting aspects, I think this is where it's very strong. Everything that you could want out of a modern metalcore album, you can get out of this. These fun but simple riffs, punchy and soaring choruses. Man, the vocals on this album are incredible. Whoever the vocalist is on this, bro. Whew, you got some chops, my G. They do a good job of dividing up vibes throughout the album as well. Having some of the heavier songs separated by some of the slower, more ballady songs, or the more kind of straightforward, in-your-face, just clear-cut songs. There was every chance of this album becoming a very samey experience, but they did a great job of track sequencing, so they completely avoided that. The themes they're very real. They're speaking a lot to experiences, I take it, with whoever wrote the songs. I don't know if the vocalist writes the songs. I don't know who in the band is the main songwriter, but it feels like they touch on a lot of like relationships, friendships, toxic friendships and relationships, and also self-improvement. It's classic stuff to get the deep factor, the feels, get you in your feelings. It fits that theme of reflection or reflections, as it were. I don't know if it was supposed to be like a play on that. It feels like to me what it comes across as. This person is in these very toxic situations, and this is how he is handling or has handled them. It's a story. It's a bit of a story. It's not, let's say, concept, but it is stories on stories of experiences and things that he's gone through. These can get very relatable at times, in the sense that if you've been in those kinds of situations, you might enjoy the little catharsis you get out of deep diving them. And it's also a thought-provoking experience, you know? Like, you read into the lyrics and you think, I've been there. That was fucked up. Let's unpack that. So to go into the song lists, the song Believe, which is a great opener. It goes straight in and starts running with it. It sets the tone really well. It gives you everything you need to expect from the album. Also, it was the last single that they released. I don't know why they did. That was their 5th single from the album, and I'm not 100% sure why. I feel like a lot of bands are over-singling these days, and it kind of takes away from the experience of the album. I do avoid a lot of singles, unless it's a band that I have to hear it from, like Tesseract, solely to save my experience for the album, because I'm an album listener, and that's just me. But I think the reason that they're doing that is down to the fact that singles just do better than albums these days. People don't have that kind of attention span. I would say also, in fairness, they started their rollout in November of 2022. And the album came out last week. So it kind of makes sense that they were so sporadic. I know that the first single was in November of 2022, and then the second one was in February of 2023. More Than Misery. This was the 3rd single from the album, and it's a very Starset sounding song. The first time I heard this, the chorus hit. This is one of those choruses that are so strong from the first time that they're in. They back everything away and they let that chorus sing. I'd say that they use a great use of build up and wind down to make this song very effective. And it was one of my favorite singles that dropped, if not my favorite single that dropped. And The Silence is the next song. I love this song. This is just a classic banger, man. Like, it gets straight into it and it doesn't give. I had a lot of fun with this song, and a good example of the guitar sound being built for full chords. This is heavily in the area of full chords. This is a song that I keep coming back to. From the theme to the sound, I'm truly impressed. This is definitely my favorite song off of the album. Next song is Too Late. It's a nice riff that unfortunately gets buried in the mix. Like I mentioned earlier, the guitars are very weak, and I feel like if the guitars were on the level that everything else in the production was, this song would hit really fucking hard. Otherwise, it's a very Dayseeker-esque song with the heavy kind of taking a backseat to a lot more of the electronic vibes. They let that kind of swell a little bit more. By the Sound, the 2nd single from the album, and again with the chorus. This chorus. We have a very pained man on a nice floaty song that packs a decent hit where it needs to. It's a perfect example of the potential that I see in this band. They built it perfectly, kept the momentum. Immediately after that first chorus, they went straight into a second verse that's just as powerful, but they still managed to build for the second chorus. You can't ask for much more in a songwriting sense. 6 Feet Down. This is the heavy, angy one, the grunty one. You know, the one you're gonna be moshing to at the show. This one, they were focusing heavily on the anger aspect, and this is just it's all about being angry. A heavy ass riff with punishing ass sections with just the right amount of punch. You know, sick breakdown too. There's a really good breakdown in this one, and like I said, if I was to go to a show for these guys, god damn, I'd be thrown down to that song. Silhouettes, a nice ballad that comes at a really good time, and it welcomes in the last few songs of the album. It's a very touching piece that relies on space and the space that it creates. Very powerful and moving section of the album. Guiding Light. This was the very first single, the one that came out in November of last year. This kind of set the tone for the album. This was them testing the waters, putting out a single saying, hey, this is where we're going next. Do you guys fuck with it? Obviously we fuck with it. Here we are, we got the album. It was a very good choice of a single as well. Shows a bit more of the Starset stylings. Like I say, I'm going to be comparing these guys to Starset and Dayseeker a lot more. I think that through that, they've created their own sound. I don't want to take anything away from these guys creating their own sound. Honestly, if you're mashing two good bands together and making your own sound out of that, I don't think that's a bad thing. Hate Me. Now, this song, it started as a, oh cool, this is another one of those like heavy songs. I thought that this was going to be the fall off of the album. I wasn't 100% convinced until they made it worth the wait. They start with a very on-beat empty drum section, which, again, bringing up the guitars, I don't think they should have done with how weak the guitars are. They made up for it with a really fun change up in the middle, and then they brought in the Hate on Me section. The way that this hits in the chorus just... Bro! That section, that vocal section, tears me away. The rhythmic pulses that they do throughout that section... So good, man. So good. Better Way Out, the final song on the album, and the 4th single that they dropped. It's a happy little feel-good bop to top off the album. I usually expect the last song to carry a lot of the emotional weight and give a very cathartic end. And whilst the theme of this caught me off guard, I didn't know how you could drop a feel-good song at the end of this. I think that it lived up to being a great emotional close and actually did a good job of rounding out everything. Talking about like hating yourself and all this kind of shit, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, if you think you're not worth it, bro, you are. You're fucking cool. It's a good way to end off an album. So in summary, I think that this band has a whole bunch of potential. I think that they're keeping the new metalcore sound alive and well, and showing that there's a lot more that can be shown through this sound. In a time where everything is getting a lot less original, it's good to find that people are expanding. There are aspects I disagree with on the album, namely the mixing choices, but all around, I think it's a solid body of work. I think that this band has come up with a great sophomore album to follow up their 2021 release of Lost Souls. I still prefer Lost Souls. I think that this is a great album that's going to be in my rotation for a while. So easily, it's an enjoy on my scale. And if you're going to get the number score, we're going to have our second 7 in a row. It's a great album. And I can't wait to see what these guys do next. That will be doing it for my review of Caskets Reflections. Go listen to it for yourself. I think you'll have fun with it. If you fuck with the new metalcore sound, you fuck with bands like Dayseeker, Starset, those kinds of things, jump into this album. Give it a go. Give it a spin. Enjoy yourself. Next week, we're going to be doing Holding Absence. I am very, very excited for that one. I wonder if we're going to get a trio of 7s or if this one's going to climb a little higher, because I am fully fucking invested in the singles. Like, this is a band I have listened to all of the singles for. We're out here. We're listening to music. Get into some heavies. Get into your heavies. Do this shit. Have fun. Enjoy the fucking heavy vibes, and also leave me a like and subscribe. Like that's how you enjoy heavy music, by liking and subscribing to my videos.